No matter whether this is your first cruise or you're a seasoned cruiser.
This video will save you time, money, and headaches.
Yeah, hello again, and we thank you for joining us for yet another episode of the adventurous life of Paul and Diane. This video, Diane is going to share with you different hacks and tips to make your cruise experience more enjoyable.
Through the many years that Paul and I have been cruising, I learned some hacks and some tips that I thought that you would be interested in. So in this next video, I am going to tell you some of these hacks and tips. Okay, the first thing is I would like to talk about is if you want to purchase any packages like your Wi-Fi, your spa, or drink packages, anything like that, specialty dining. If you purchase these before the cruise, you can save 10% than paying for it on the cruise. The next one is to pack a carry-on with you, because if your luggage gets lost, you have some clothes to wear, like a bathing suit or, if you want to go swimming, but mainly you'll have each have a pair of clothes, to wear and shoes and things like that. And also you want to make sure that if you take any medication, you put it in your carry-on, and important papers or cruise documents. You want that to be with you. You don't want that to be in your checked luggage.
Yeah, another reason why you want to do it is because a lot of times your bag doesn't show up until several hours after you've already been on the cruise ship. And you might want to go out to the pool, go swimming, go in a hot tub or something like that. So if you have your swimsuit and water shoes and things like that in your bag, you just go right on out there and start having fun.
Next, I want to tell you to arrive one day before your cruise, just in case your flight is delayed or canceled. We've heard of people that's happened to, and they didn't make the cruise. So you want to make sure that you come in a day ahead of time so you're able to make that cruise.
With our experience, we live in the state of Michigan. A lot of times we cruise over the winter months, and the winter become quite extreme in Michigan. So that's the reason why we fly in a day early, because if you were to fly in the same day, there's a lot of flights being delayed. So it's for us and for people who live out in the colder areas, it's very advisable to come in a day early.
Another thing that I'd like to tell you is make sure you arrive at the cruise port at the time that your ticket says, or 15 minutes earlier than that, but don't come any sooner because they might have you wait outside. And a lot of these ports that you go to, the weather, it's so hot or it's raining or something, and you'll be out in that weather. And also they have a 90-minute window to 2-hour window that they want you on the ship before it sails. So make sure that you're on there before that time, because they won't let you on. That's how they are. They won't let you on. They won't let you board.
Yeah, the reason they want you to arrive as close as your ticket time as possible is because it helps with passenger flow, and it keeps the boarding process proceeding in an orderly fashion.
This one I thought was very important. On embarkation day, the buffet is very, very crowded. So what you want to do is have somebody that's with you sit at the table, and you go get your food, and then you swap places, and then you go get your food, because if you both go and you're standing there carrying your plate and you can't find a seat, you're like, uh-oh, what am I going to do? So you find a table first, have that person sit there, and the other one go get something to eat first.
Okay, one of the first things that we always do is go to our muster station and get that out of the way. You get your emergency instructions, how to put on your life vest and all that kind of stuff. This is mandatory for all passengers. So get it out of the way as soon as possible. That way you can start enjoying your cruise, getting your guy's burger and your first drink.
Another thing is some new cruisers and even seasoned cruisers get seasick. So you want to make sure that you bring bonine or Dramamine or ginger candies, or I don't know if anybody knows this, but they say that the green apples that are on board the ship can help you with your seasickness. Also, make sure you put your phone on airplane mode when the ship starts to leave the port, because if you don't do that, then you're going to forget, and then you're going to have a big bill, and you don't want that. So also, if you paid for the Wi-Fi on the ship, you can have the airplane mode on, and you will be able to use your Wi-Fi because you'll be on the ship Wi-Fi.
Okay, for specialty dining, it's not mandatory to have a reservation, but because of the restaurant popularity in the specialty restaurants, it is recommended to make a reservation. Otherwise, you might be waiting in line for a very long time to be seated.
If you want to save money on booking a cruise and you have the flexibility and can go anytime, book 2 weeks before Thanksgiving and 2 weeks before Christmas. This usually can get you a cheaper booking cost. Also, if you want to save money and you won't be in the cabin very much, you might want to book an interior cabin. On our first couple of cruises, we had an interior cabin, but we really like the balcony cabins.
Yeah, we being older, we enjoy sitting out on our balcony in the morning and having a nice cup of coffee and having a drink in the evening and listening to the ocean and just watching those beautiful starlit nights.
This is also a very good tip. Bring cash with you because if you use the ATMs on board the ship, they charge high fees, like $5 or $10 per transaction. Also, when you book a cruise and they give you the onboard credit, make sure that you spend that money that they give you, because when you leave the ship, when the cruise is over, you lose the money. Make sure you bring a pair of sneakers because some of the excursions and activities around the ship require you to wear closed-toed shoes. Also, you should bring water shoes because some of the beaches are very rocky.
Yeah, we wear water shoes even when we go in the hot tub and the pool, because one time Diane was getting out of a hot tub and she was going down the steps and there was something sharp that was protruding out of it and she cut her foot. She was bleeding pretty good. From that point on, it was always water shoes for us.
Also, if you need to go to guest services, it's usually really busy. So we think that a good time would be around 11 p.m., midnight, or the earliest you can in the morning. They are open 24 hours a day, so somebody will be there. Also, if you watch a show or go to the comedy show, you want to make sure that you get there about 30 minutes ahead of time, because I'm telling you, we've gone there and the lines are really long. If you go like about 10 minutes before it starts. So try to get there about a half an hour before they start. You can also ask your cabin attendant to bring you some items. One of them is ice. They also can bring you extra pillows, which Paul and I always ask them for. And then they have mattress toppers, which if you think the bed is not as soft as you want it to be, they can put that on top for you. And they also can bring you a robe if there isn't one hanging in the closet, and extra hangers. They also have fans, but they don't have an abundance of fans. So if you get really hot or you want it for the noise to keep noise in the room so you can sleep better, bring one with you. On debarkation day, you want to go through your room to make sure that you didn't forget anything, and especially check the safe if you used it, because many people forget they put something in the safe and they leave it there and then they have a hard time trying to get it back. So make sure that you go through everything, even the safe.
Okay, lastly, make sure you book your flight at least 1 p.m. or later because it does take time to get off that ship. You have to go through customs and a bunch of different things like that, get your bag. So make sure you at least have a 1 p.m. flight so you'll get home on time. All right, that about does it for this episode of The Adventurous Life of Paul and Diane. But the first thing I want you to do, very important, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never ever miss another episode of The Adventurous Life of Paul and Diane. We thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you for watching, and I hope these hacks and tips can help you on your next cruise. Bye.
Bye.